just had the next mystery guest pop in.
Mystery guest.
Yeah. Should we reveal him now?
Yes,
or
I think
later?
we should.
And I think we should make Tasha stay long enough to sing that for every guest that comes in.
I think so.
You've got it recorded
Hey,
now.
welcome to the table, Blessing Offor.
Blessing.
The hot seat, man.
Yes, good to see you.
It's so good to see you again. You
I
did?
knew all those TV answers.
Oh, you did.
I was like, SpongeBob.
Oh, wait, Under the
should have
Sea.
asked
I
Danny
thought that
Gopi.
was
Who
it
lives in
Ariel?
a pineapple
No,
under
that
the
was,
sea.
that was SpongeBob.
Oh my goodness, I would have missed it. So, all
right.
right. Well, hi, Blessing. Thanks for joining us. So, Blessing, are you on the protein train like all of us these days? Are you trying to get X amount of grams and all that?
Gains, bro. But like, I'm on the veggies
Oh, okay.
and
that's
light
good.
protein train.
Okay.
Right? Like, carnivore diet doesn't make sense to me. But I'm on the like eat tons of natural veggies.
Okay.
And like eat a protein now and again, because your body needs it. Right?
Yeah.
And so I'm on kind of that train. I'm also on the intermittent fast train.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
We started intermittent fasting a while. Carmen got on that train for a bit,
I did.
Good.
and because she was on it, so were we.
Yeah.
We didn't want to be.
We didn't want to be.
Okay. So, are you doing like? Sorry, we're going to go down the intermittent
please.
fasting, but are you doing the 16-8? Are you doing the 12-12? Like, what are you
This
doing?
is gonna sound so. These guys know when you have sessions every day
Yep.
when you're not on the road. Session starts at 10, usually ends at 3 or 4. I'm on the wake up. I'm not a big breakfast person, so I drink coffee and I jump into a session. And by the time I know it, it's 3. And maybe I've had like a handful of almonds or something.
Yeah.
And then I end up just having a really good sized dinner. And like my emotions aren't connected to my body, so I'm not hangry. My productivity is good. So I'm kind of one mealer, but not out of, it's not a flex. It's just kind of what happens. You know?
Okay, last question, then we'll get off the protein and we'll flip. But have you like studied the autophagy and all of what all that means? Because it's really fascinating.
Like how your
cells start cleansing themselves.
When the beauty somehow of the intermittent diet is once your body hits a certain level stage, like your cells start cleaning themselves.
It's true.
And it's wild. And then obviously the good part is they're taking energy from the fat you don't want. And
Yes,
that
Lord.
starts cleaning out your body. Amen, Lord, and amen,
Yeah,
Jesus.
listen.
That's what I need.
Let's just basically you start living off the land.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of land that can be lived off of.
So the last time we sat down was a little over a year ago. It was March of last year.
Yep.
And you were fresh back from your trip back to Nigeria. It was the first time you'd been home in decades, right?
Decades, literally, probably 25 years.
We talked a little bit about that trip and how special it was and reunions with parents. And then it wasn't but a couple of months later,
Yeah.
you lost your
My
mom.
mom passed. It was literally May 28th. And the last I'd seen her, like her, my dad, and my siblings took me to the airport January, probably literally 28th or 29th. So 4 months later. And we were making all the plans to go back home and like, cause now I could, you know what I mean? I can go home. I can, and so all that was in the works. And then I was getting on an airplane and my brother texts me and says, hey, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I'm about to fly to LA. I'm making music, blah, 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 blah. He goes, call me when you land, I have something to tell you. And you know, when your gut just goes, and I said, hey, listen, Nashville to LA is a 4-hour, 15-minute flight. You need to tell me now because my brain's just going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he says, I don't have a lot of information, but mom stood up and literally had a coronary. Her and my dad had just done Bible study, literally, eaten breakfast, and she picked up her bag to head to work. And that was it. And it was like, you know, guys, if you've heard any of my music, you will kind of know what I'm about. It was one of those, if you don't give me what I want, but you give me what I need moments.
Right. Yes, exactly.
That was not what I wanted. What I wanted was years and years and years more with my mom, who I'd missed out on life with for 2.5 decades, you know what I mean? And it was super interesting because in the 3.5 weeks we spent together, I kept going, Mom, how did you do it? And she said to me, you know, Blessing, no one ever thinks about year 11 and month 3 and week 2 and day 6, like the middle of that time. She said, I'd just be walking around and everything would be fine. And then I would just go, wait, my son's not here. And so she said it would just hit her in the most random moments. And she would just be heartbroken. And I mean, just those kinds of conversations were so sweet to have with her. And even in the tragedy of it all, you go, but God let that happen, gave us that, you know, almost month, because I think God always knows what you can handle, right? And I think he knows that I could not have handled losing her without
Having seen her.
And showing her that she made the right choice, presenting myself to her whole and happy. And I think that did her heart all the good it needed. You know what I mean? And so God in his infinite graciousness completed that story for us and then called her home. And so it is the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord, you know? Yeah. The funny thing is, so right before that happened, I was at the Grammys. I was nominated for 2 Grammys. And then I was on all these great tours. And then we have a family group text on WhatsApp. And so my family knows more about me than I do, because I'll post something and they'll put it in the group chat and they'll be like, oh my God, Blessing, did you see so-and-so commented? I'm like, no, actually. Why are you looking at this? So they love it. They're super proud. And once in a while, you'll just notice that, you know, mom would be the first one commenting. She would always be the first, you know what I mean? And then, so once in a while, my sister will comment and she'll say, hey, I'm doing this for mom because she would have said it. Why aren't you talking about Nigeria more? So it's those silly little things that, you know, but we, you know, thankfully technology, like all her voice memos, all her, you just kind of, all that stuff gets to mean so much more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I speaking of the WhatsApp, I saw on Instagram, and this is where, you know, you have those days that are sort of like almost scheduled grief. They're the days you know that are going to be sad, and then they're the ones that come out of nowhere.
Yes.
But on the anniversary of your mom's passing, you got something in WhatsApp that you did not expect.
You guys, like, you talk about just God planning. Like, I can only imagine he, in outside the bounds of time, just has this massive calendar. He goes, this is going to happen now. That's going to be bad. But a year from now, we're going to do this. You know what I mean? So my sister-in-law was due June 4th. That was her due date, Emily. And
I think
May
I know where this is
28th
going.
is my mom's
gosh.
anniversary,
Oh,
the anniversary of her passing.
yeah.
And my brother has a daughter, Tiffany, and he just always wanted a son. And he said, Blessing, I really hope because they're super, like, they're, you know, naturalists. They don't want to know what it is. So he's like, I just really hope M is having a son because her body doesn't take well to pregnancy. You know what I mean? So I was like, bro, let's pray about this. And so lo and behold, May 28th. And he goes, Emily went into labor. And I was like, no way. And then lo and behold, his son was born.
Wild.
On May 28th.
On May 28th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on.
You can't write that.
8 days or so before she was even supposed
Was
to
it
be
her
born.
first?
Her second.
Her second.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
full 8 days before
Wow.
she was supposed to be in labor. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
And almost and to have that memory on that day now too.
Yeah.
You know.
And I love the way you shared it on Instagram, because you said you got up thinking this is going to be a sad day, and then you open it up and it's all the happy emojis,
Yes.
and
I
you
was
were like,
like,
this is
what?
not the vibe, right?
Yes. I was like, guys, come on, relax. And it was a whole other news. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It was joy in place of mourning.
good.
And it was just like, when you feel something like that, you realize none of the songs do it justice. You know what I mean? That actual switching of emotions that, you know, God replaces one with the other. And it's like a gift. It's like this magical, of course I care about you. Of course I see you. Of course I know. And here's this. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Good.
This is why I hang out with this guy right here.
Yes.
He's
yes,
the
yes.
sage.
He really is.
in my life, and
I've always said perspective is a secret sauce to life, and if there's one thing you can see in you, Blessing, your perspective. Your perspective is a gift.
so one of the things that I love about this moment and moments in life where it feels like worlds colliding. Number one, Blessing has been to our house numerous times at this very table just to have dinner with us. Like no other reason.
Just friendship.
Just friendship. My girls love Blessing. They call him Blessin'.
Blessing.
Blessing. So
Spelled
to the South,
BLIESSIN.
that's right. So when Blessin walked in, Elliston just went right to him,
yeah.
because he's a member of the family. But one of the funny things about Blessing is that years ago, we have a mutual friend, Ross Copperman. So we met at a country. We were at a country showcase at a club, and Ross introduced us at the club and said, "You guys need to know each other." And I didn't take his advice. And then years later, we would become friends because we're artists together. But at the time, Blessing was he kind of hangs with every genre that exists.
Just played at the
He does.
CMAs.
Yeah, just played it. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, total
And with
chameleon.
and with Jenna,
Play-
the
hung
book
out
club.
with-
Oh
Yeah,
my
I'm
goodness,
also a nerd. It's a
I
whole
saw
thing.
that the other day too.
Yeah. So Blessing, I mean, he just has this very wide, diverse group of people that hang with him. And that's what I love about him, is that you can't really put him in one genre. So tell me, Blessing, you told me you're already working on your third record, but your second record,
Just got put to bed.
but he's one of the most prolific guys that I know. Tell us about the upcoming record, because it's like we're a month out.
We're a month out. It's called Real. And I started writing that record literally, honestly, the day after My Tribe came out, My Tribe came out January 13th of 23. And I have songs that are on this record from a few days after that. So I my goal is to always have the kinds of conversations we just had earlier about grief and loss and everything. There's a song on that record called Crying Out Loud, which is exactly for my mom. And it feels like the best sophomore album I could ever put out. And I say that with all due humility and gratitude for the people that helped me work on it. It's 16 tracks. It is, can I say awesome? That might
Yes.
be okay.
Yeah, say it.
It's awesome. And there is nothing on it, no word I sang on that record that I wouldn't stand behind with everything in me. So I'm really, really excited for y'all to hear it. There's some tours we're working on for the fall. So, y'all get excited. You might have to come meet me in theaters.
Yes. Yep.
And other dangerous places in the world.
Blessing and I, one of the fun things about Blessing is that we'll share our records, and we went on a car ride, a couple months ago?
Yes, bro.
And
That was so fun.
It was so great. Like,
Who drove?
I did.
He did, exactly.
Literally, it was right there.
Yeah, you guys.
And I
That's
was
how you know your
practicing
friends.
self-control. Oh my
He
goodness.
held back. He knocked it off.
Oh yeah. See, that's a good co-host. I teed you up, guys. Well done. But we listened to a lot of his new record. Obviously, the first song off this new record that we heard from was
Jordan's.
a duet. Well, no.
Oh, it was the Dolly one. Yes.
So he stole like my dream from me, and he has a duet with Dolly Parton.
Get out of town. Dolly is on your next record?
She's on my next record.
Blessing.
Incredibly
Bless. Lord have
Hashtag blessed.
What was that like? Being in the room with Dolly.
Wow, guys. It was, how someone tells you about a celebrity and you're like, okay, I want them to be this,
Yes,
that.
yes.
She is everything and more. She is truly the queen. You know what I mean?
is.
I have so many funny stories. I'm trying to think of how to tell them.
Just tell them.
Okay, I'm going to tell them.
Yep.
So I'm going to tell them the best way I can. So she said to me, She said, I said, how are you Dolly Parton? How do you do this? And she said to me, I wake up at 3:30 in the morning every day. She said, I'm dressed and I put on the outfits by 5:30 in the morning. And she goes, this is a business, honey. She said, this is a business, honey. I have to be on. If I'm not on, who's Dolly? That's true. Touche, man. Touche.
Yes.
And her outlook is so amazing. She said she, reads her scripture in the morning, and she says, when I talk to Spirit, Spirit says, girl, go love people today. Don't worry about anything else. Just go love people. And she said, if I can put enough love in my music so that people can see each other clearer, that's all I want to do.
Awesome.
And I was like, dang, I want to be like you. And so honestly, that's what it is.
One of the things I love about Dolly is her vulnerability in her own way.
Yeah,
you know what I
she is.
mean?
Yep.
But she's been talking a lot lately about losing her husband. Carl.
Right. Yeah.
And which they met here in Nashville at a laundromat.
Yeah.
It's actually the one over off. It's on the corner of 21st and I forget the crossroad is, but
Wedgwood there.
Yeah.
Kind of by Vandy.
Yeah, it's the wishy-washy or
Wishy-
whatever it was.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
That's crazy.
It's still there. But I just, I looked up to her as a kid, and he went and stole my dreams. So
You guys have not only been friends for a while, you've worked together. In fact, you've co-written together.
we have, yeah.
Come on.
The first time I co-wrote with Blessing, it was for his last record, which ended up on your deluxe.
Same Cloud.
Same Cloud.
Such a
Man,
good song.
That was an amazing day. But we hang more than we collaborate. But I called him in on my new record because I just love co-writing with him. And we wrote my next single. What is it called?
Highly favored.
Highly favored.
Highly favored.
Yes.
You guys you're not ready. You're not prepared. This song's so catchy.
It is.
I apologize in advance that you will not stop singing it. You know what I mean? You just won't.
So good.
See,
so
he's
good.
envious of me.
So-
now.
I am envious.
So
like
if you
to,
guys write more together, are you going to fight over who gets to
Who
keep
gets
what?
the credit?
No, he can have it. That's my bro. He can have it.
I want to join the envy crowd here because Brandon, you actually stole my question for Blessing about the album coming up.
Yeah.
So you took my dream question. He took your dream
Oh, wow.
duet. So that's all good. We're all just envious in the Lord. together
the Lord.
This morning, which is a beautiful thing. I want to hear about the Offer Mercy Fund because we talked about this last time you were with us. It was right when you were going to Nigeria, and I know that it's already helped some people
Yes.
with dealing that are blind.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
tell us a little bit about what's going on with it.
So we've been to 2 countries, Nigeria and Guatemala. We've been to a couple states in America here. So the Offer Mercy Fund, full circle with my mom, when my parents sent me to America, it was to treat glaucoma, which I was born with. So I was born blind in my left eye, had vision in my right eye, came to America to save the vision. Yale New Haven Hospital did that. And then I got shot in the eye with a water gun in the good eye, right? Detached the retina, etc. So, but here's the thing. Though that happened, I was in Connecticut, which is a great state for education and blah, blah, blah. So they were like, oh, no worries. Like, here's the equipment you need. Here are the resources you need. Here are the people that are going to help you learn everything you need, right? To, like, not fall behind in school. I was mainstreamed through everything, AP classes, blah, blah, et cetera, et cetera. So I didn't realize that's not how it was everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, there are places in America where that doesn't even happen, right? So I just grew up in a really well-resourced state. And it took me leaving that state to realize, oh, wait, that was a gift. And I knew it was a gift from Nigeria, but I didn't even realize that there are some parts of America where that was a gift. So the Offer Mercy Fund is my attempt. My sister in 2022 also passed. Listen, guys, my life is not sad, but stuff happens. You know what I mean? So my sister passed. Her name was Mercy. So I thought, I want to honor my sister. So I named this the Offer Mercy Fund. And so what it does is it takes resources from places like the places I got to grow up in, things you think no one needs, extra canes, braille books, magnifying glasses, etc. And we flew a bunch of it to a school for the blind in Nigeria. And we flew a bunch of it to a school for the blind in Guatemala. And we go to schools in West Virginia And I think we're doing a program in Kentucky where we just bring resources, professionals, teachers, know-how to under-resourced places. And it's just, I think that's what God would have us do when we have a lot, when we are given a lot, right? You say, how can I take this from my hands and send it somewhere where it can do good? And so God has blessed me with a career and a platform, as they say, and I would not be my mom's son if I didn't do something to move that forward. You know what I mean? So that's the Offer Mercy Fund.
That's great. We'll put a link for our listeners if they want to know more at themorningcruise.com.
We've covered a lot of territory. We've covered everything from loss to new birth to the Blessing Offor, the Offer Mercy Fund. If I could speak, it'd be great. I only do it for a living. But I want to get to something else that I learned. We have a couple of things in common.
Come on.
One of which is apparently neither one of us is all that fond of cats.
Oh my! The vitriol.
He almost
the
said
blood
it and then he
just
caught
boiled.
himself.
I know.
Oh my God!
And then another thing we have in common apparently is Parks and Rec.
Oh my God! We're such best friends right now. Step one:
Bonding over their hatred of cats. Parks
I
and
thought
Rec.
since you're a Parks and Rec fan,
yes.
let's borrow from Parks and Rec
Let's
for this
go.
last question. What does Blessing Offor do when it's time to treat yourself?
I love this question.
Wow, that's the best question I've ever heard. Let me tell you, my street in Nashville is the coolest, funnest, that's not a word, most enjoyable street you could ever be on. Like it's Brandon will testify.
attest.
It's so good, right? So me treating myself is literally just walking up and down my street eating food that's incredibly too expensive.
He literally lives above an ice cream shop.
Wow.
I mean,
Is it Jenny's?
It is, Jenny.
Uh-oh.
for all
Right.
you stalkers out
Yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Luckily, there's a few of them.
Yes. Hey, next
Oh
time we
my-
come to Nashville,
Yeah,
we
you
might be
are.
broadcasting from Blessing
Yeah, you are.
Offers.
Hey.
We'll all
Kidding,
treat ourselves.
kidding.
Treat yourself.
That's perfect.